Esse podcast é produzido pela Audio Inc.
Vieses Femininos, por Elisa Tawil.
Welcome.
Thank you, Elisa.
So my guest today is a really entrepreneur. From kombucha manufacturing through angel investments, saving electricity systems, supporting a dancing TV show, and an incredible singer. My special guest today is my fellow and also a Shakti leader, Kimberli Hudson. Thank you so much to be with me here.
Thank you for inviting me, Elisa. And we've spent this amazing last week together in Croatia. And, you know, I've always known you were amazing as we've worked together the last 9 months. But over this last week, to get to be closer to you and really experience daily your amazing ability in the world and connection to yourself.
Thank you. Yeah.
And what you're doing. It's an honor.
We're going to talk a little bit more about also the Shakti graduation, but the subject today, the main elements that we're going to bring today for our conversation, it's about money.
Yes.
So tell us more about this incredible entrepreneur journey and what is next for Kimberli.
Absolutely. So I started my first company at 17 years old. I graduated high school young, tried college for a semester, and it wasn't for me at the time. So I decided to start a company. I had been fortunate enough my dad started his company when I was 10, and so I worked for him, starting at about 10, his land development company and property management company. So I learned how to run a business without ever going to college first. So I started my first business at 17. It was a window washing company. And then about a year later, I decided the local janitorial supply company that I was getting my supplies from was terrible. So I started janitorial supply, vertical integration, and went from there. Like I said, I've owned 13 companies. If something interests me and I'm curious about it and start going down that rabbit hole of finding out, and then look at the market and see what the market landscape is, and if that idea that has sparked interest has a place in the market, I figure why not start a business and make money while learning.
Wow.
Or not. Some businesses don't work, but I've been fortunate. Most have, at least to some degree.
How have you been dealing with this failing process? Because running more than 13 companies, one of them go up, others go down.
Yes, they do.
How do you deal with this?
Well, first of all, let me say that so often we don't talk about failure in the business world, right? And especially if you look at these niches like the technology market, you know, we look at these, you know, unicorns is what we call them, you know, these gigantic companies that started in somebody's garage and they're fantastic, but we don't teach ourselves and each other how to fail.
Yeah.
And that it is a very painful process. You have to mourn it. You have to shut it down. You have to legally go through the process to kill your baby, basically.
Yeah.
And it's very, very painful. In fact, my business partners and I just decided to shut down one of our businesses to stop. Which is fine. It happens. You know, we still have some other things going on in the background with it, but our main product, we've decided, is not coming forward to market.
And that's incredible leadership behavior when you decide to leave something that's not going on and keep the lessons with you and implement them in the things that there is going. It's going well and going fine and profitable way.
Yeah.
So
well, and I will be honest with that. It took me probably 2 years longer than it should have to actually have that conversation about closing it down because it is so difficult. And so I encourage people to follow your instincts, and especially as a leader and an owner of a company, a CEO, if you see that things are not going well, if you feel that it is not sustainable, if you feel like your business isn't going to go forward, really take some time, get a mentor, get somebody in your life that can help give you some direction so that you don't go through a couple of years of pain.
Interesting. Yeah. And what is this relationship between leadership, male leadership, and also financial leadership?
Well, for so long, women have been told that they cannot be part of the financial picture.
Yeah.
For thousands of years, for the most part, women have been removed from finance. In fact, women have been a currency in and of ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. We've been traded, we've been sold. And so now we have the opportunity to change that conversation within ourselves. And it is an internal conversation in how we talk to ourselves and how we act in the world, which is an outward action of how we talk to ourselves. And it's so important in this time as we step into leadership roles as women that we also have the financial education as to how markets work, but even more importantly, that we start to do the deep internal work to untangle these centuries of being financially abused as women.
Tell me more about your financial education.
Well, like I said earlier, I was fortunate enough I'm an only child and very, very close with my parents. My dad was a comptroller of a very large oil company. And so I learned finance growing up. It was something that he loved, and so he passed it on to me. I was doing bookkeeping at 10 years old. And it's just always interested me, finance and markets, I think because I had such an early introduction to it. And even when I was growing up in the 70s, that was rare then. And I'm finding out now as I educate other women about financial wholeness, how rare that actually was and still is. And not just for women. We don't teach finance in our schools. We don't teach economics. And if you don't understand a system, you can't work within it, and you can't work within it for change either.
Interesting. But is there a difference between the male and female relationship with money?
Oh, absolutely. So many of my clients, because my current company, I consult with entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs all around the world, and I'm getting ready to launch actually an online course regarding the health of money and how to be playful with money in our lives, right? To heal these broken parts that women have with money, and to educate about how the financial systems work. Again, men have for centuries been the holders of money. Whether they were taught about markets or not, when you are the one with the power, then there's already a deep understanding of how something works. When you have been disempowered, as most women have, not all, but most, then you aren't even around it to be educated. You know, if you're around a language, if you're around a culture, if you're around money, you pick it up. It becomes innate to you. It becomes natural to you. If you aren't around it, if you're not allowed around it, you don't have that relationship with it. And it becomes scary. It becomes inaccessible. It becomes something that you don't even want to look at or let somebody else handle. And I see that over and over with my clients. And that's why I decided to launch this program, because as I worked with female entrepreneurs, I was deep in meditation one day, and the universe told me you need to help women with money before you help women with their businesses. Because if they don't have this healthy relationship with money, how can they successfully build their businesses? And money is just an energy, right? Money is a tool and an energy. And it all depends on how we relate with it on a day-to-day basis. And so untangling those belief systems and untangling those fears that reside deep within us, and myself as well. I mean, I go through this on a daily basis. It's really deep, and it's not just within each one of us. It's within generations and generations of women in our history. You know, we spent this last week talking a lot about our grandmothers and our matrilineal history. That wounding sits very deep in most of our matrilineal histories because we weren't allowed that access to money. And so there's lots of fear, there's lots of doubt, there's lots of power over instead of power with.
Yeah. Can you go deeper in this relationship with money? The power over and the power with?
Yes, absolutely. So the way we have operated for thousands of years within this capitalistic hierarchy, which again, capitalism is merely a system. It's what you bring into that system, what you imbue that system with, that governs how it acts, right? And so when you bring into a system power that subjects and subdues others, then that system is going to inherently be a system that breaks people and breaks down people and systems that are less than and puts power over. If you imbue that system with win, 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 which can also be a part of capitalism and part of the exchange of money. And let me say that when I say money, currently in our system, money is coins, is paper money, is credit cards, is all of these ways of exchanging value. But there are many other ways to exchange value. There is trade, there is barter, there is cryptocurrency, there is real estate, there is gift economies. There are so many different ways. And I really feel like as we start to heal this wounding between the masculine and the feminine, not just in business, but in financial systems, and bring more of balance into our financial systems, a new system will emerge that can balance the best of what we have now and bring in more equanimity and equality. And I don't know what it's going to look like yet. That's something that all of us get to create together and to figure out together.
And how important is the female financial independence in this environment?
Oh, it's crucial. For women to have their own finances is paramount. It doesn't matter if you own your own company. It doesn't matter if you work for somebody. It doesn't matter if you're a stay-at-home mom, which is an amazing job in and of itself. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. Some of my best friends are stay-at-home moms. Blessings to them. I don't know if I could do what they do.
It's an amazing job.
Yes.
I know.
But I have my clients take the money that they're comfortable with plus a little bit every month. Start their own savings account or investment fund, preferably investment fund, and start not only saving, so you have your own money. Nobody else's name is on that money unless you die. And then, of course, please, everybody have a will and have all of your medical directives and everything. That is imperative. But
Yeah. But you are talking, when you said about the other relationships, not regarding coins and
Yes.
credit card, how this empowerment of the female leadership can connect with these other versions of money?
Women naturally get a win-win situation better because we've had to over the centuries. That's how we've survived. We've survived with our sisters, we've survived with our aunties, we've survived cooking together and cleaning together and gleaning the fields together and planting the fields together. That's how life has survived. And so naturally, again, these centuries and centuries of this training in our DNA, just like we've been trained to not be with money or to be fearful of money, that we aren't worthy of money, all of these beliefs that are deep within us, we've also learned to be collaborative and cooperative because that ensured our survival. Whereas men, again, have learned that power over ensured their survival. And it started with protection, right? The masculine, the healthy masculine protects and holds. But in overdrive and unhealthy, that unhealthy masculine starts to do power over.
Yeah.
Right? And so this win-win. Women in leadership naturally can access that much easier than men, and in financial systems as well. So I really believe currently we have very easy access to the masculine part of money, of finance, with our record keeping, with the holding the container, right? And putting it out into the world. The feminine part of it, which is that collaboration and cooperation and win-win, that's still coming in. That's still not clear. I think it will eventually end up being clear. And we have all these little pieces that kind of connect to it. Sharing economies.
Crowdfunding.
Absolutely. Crowdfunding. All of these different really amazing things that all are pieces going in that direction. But who knows what new financial systems are going to end up looking like. And we can choose to be excited about that and embrace it because we have done the job of educating ourselves, or we can be fearful of it and push it away. And that is a choice all of us have.
And how and when did you create this relationship through Shakti?
Well, the first Shakti trip that Nalima put together to India, I knew Nalima and I knew Raj through Conscious Capitalism, and I got this email in my inbox about the trip, and I knew I had to be there. It was not a good time. I was just coming out of putting a lot of money in this business that now is closing down, starting a new business. It was not a good time to go to India for 2 weeks, and I went anyway. And on that trip, a group of us, actually all of us were talking about it, but a group emerged that ended up being the faculty for the Shakti Fellowship. And through Nalima's framework, we have put together this 9-month fellowship program that really addresses a lot of these things that we've talked about today, which is, win-win, power with, instead of power over, all of these concepts of balancing the masculine and the feminine in all of us that is crucial in our leadership, in our daily lives, and in our financial lives.
And how do you connect this faculty experience in your business and also in your entrepreneur future?
Well, first of all, my other faculty members and the whole Shakti cohorts are this amazing sisterhood of support and of resources that I am deeply grateful for. I would not be where I am right now. I'd be in a very different place without that. And it has taught me to think in different ways, because the faculty, these women, we all came together the way we did for a reason. We're all brilliant in our own ways that are extremely different. And to get to work with these women, the majority of my businesses have been in very masculine worlds. And so even though naturally I was always really good at holding that female space, for the most part, it was still very masculine. So actually getting to work within this female world is amazing. These women are brilliant and giving and whole. And to have the opportunity to work with them and to work with all of you is one of the joys of my life.
Absolutely. So how you bring all this experience to your project, and tell me about your project.
Absolutely. So the company I started is called Unruly.
Unruly.
And it's to work with women entrepreneurs all over the world to help them start their businesses, run their businesses, and hopefully do this from a place of power with, instead of working within the existing very masculinized framework of capitalism and business. So to help them with these principles of Shakti leadership in their day-to-day business life. And hopefully, if they're just starting a business, imbue it with that from the very beginning.
And how do I start? Practical.
You can go to my website, you can call me, you can email me. I am in the process of releasing an online course with money and financial intelligence. And shortly thereafter, I've also created a course for female entrepreneurs to go through a lot of these issues, these learnings. There's very day-to-day practical learnings within these courses that help untangle the old and re-emerge the new. And so those will be launching very shortly, because working one-on-one, there's only so many people I can help, so many women I can help. But online, I can help women all over the world and help them be more whole within themselves, their businesses, and their money.
And you were reading The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist.
Yes, she's amazing. I've read it many times.
So, what's the soul of money?
The soul of money is exchange, you know? It's any kind of exchange that happens. And it's an exchange, ideally, that's built on appreciation, compassion, and love. And when we bring that energy into our financial systems instead of greed, because there is enough for all of us. There is enough for you, there's enough for me, there's enough for Elisa, there's enough for everyone and everything. I promise there really is. And within there being enough sits gratitude and compassion and love. And when we imbue our financial systems with that, they will shift significantly from greed and scarcity and fear to ease and love and flow.
Yeah, you brought some words as fun
Yes.
and love and money, of course. And the balance between them requires a lot of responsibility.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
it does.
sometimes female leadership doesn't arise and grow because of afraid of being more responsible. We already have a lot of responsibilities. How we can deal with this arising of responsibility regarding money, love, and fun?
Great question. Again, I go back to gratitude. When you really are able to sink into gratitude, fear disappears. When you can be in a place of connecting with the other and connecting with somebody or something else outside of yourself, then you can't be in a place of greed. If you have compassion and gratitude, the two just don't exist together.
And fun.
And make fun. Elisa was there last year in San Diego when I realized that one of my superpowers is play, which everybody thought was hilarious that I didn't know, but I didn't, because we don't know our own superpowers.
Yes.
They're so natural to us that we don't know them, and so we forget to call them out. So thank you. Yes. Play. Money is fun. It is. Business is fun. Creation. It's about creation with.
And since you allowed yourself to be this funny person, what effectivity changes you can understand about it?
I have found that, and I did this before I realized that play and joy was one of my superpowers. When you can come into a situation that is uncomfortable or charged, whether it be somebody's belief systems or an actual physical situation where people are in discord and disharmony, if you can come in with a little bit of that fool energy, right? And you can come in with joy and a little bit of play and impishness and just kind of drop it in the middle of things. It's amazing to just watch how the energy shifts and how people are able to kind of take a breath, laugh a little bit, maybe even laugh at themselves a little bit, and breathe. And when I teach about money, people think money and finance is all serious, business is all serious. No, it's not. It's a lot of fun. In fact, I have the URL, Play with Money, and I'm figuring out what I want to do with it. There's some project in there.
Interesting.
That, because money it's creation.
Yes.
Business is creation. You know, I don't have children. And so my businesses are my children. that's my creation, that's play, that's fun, that's curiosity, right? It can be from a space of joy. Does it mean that it's going to be, are there things that you're going to have to do that you don't want to do? Sure. But doing it from a place of curiosity instead of drudgery shifts it entirely.
You brought something really profound now, because you brought your motherhood feeling that we printed in our family to the business.
Yes.
So that means if you could be able to deal with our business, with our money, with our profitable life, as with the same love, fun, and relations that we deal with our family, with our kids.
Yes, exactly. The same care, the same love, the same joy, the same generosity, the same frustration sometimes. But within even the frustration and the anger and all of these things that come up in family or in birthing projects and businesses and money, there's a sweetness, there's a joy in that. As you know, as a mother, you know, even the hard stuff, you're like, ugh, I want to strangle you and I want to hug you.
Yes.
And that's your deepest growth.
Interesting. Yeah, deep. Well, to close our session of the day, we are recording this in Šibenik, Croatia. Kimberli lives in LA.
Yes.
We started this journey of the Shakti graduation in San Diego, California, and I live in São Paulo, Brazil. So, does money has boundaries, or language, or culture, or country? How does the money and the financial entrepreneur relationship related about the worldwide connection?
Especially now, you know, money's boundaries are dissolving very quickly, and you add in things like cryptocurrency and new ways of exchange, and that's even more true. At the same time, there's this really beautiful space in our own local communities that we can start to build resilient ecosystems of different forms of exchange. So there's the global, which is pretty boundless in the way it connects us all. And that's beautiful. It allows us to be here in Croatia and still work and still connect and buy food and buy clothes and do all the things we need to do. But on a micro level, there's this wonderful sense of community that we can develop around us with small economies, with trade economies, with all kinds of different things. I know I have 2 interns that work with me, and yes, I pay them, but part of the exchange is they are learning, they are getting something for their resume, they're getting some college credit, and so that is part of the exchange. There are all different ways to exchange, and that's all financial systems are at the end of the day, is an exchange.
Yeah, I love it. so much to increase, learn, and your version of motherhood related to financial and relationship with money. It's so deep and so necessary for all of us.
Yes.
And also channel to change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A channel to birth something new.
Yes. Thank you. Kimberli.
Thank you, Elisa. And have fun.
Have fun. Enjoy.
Obrigada por estar aqui. Eu sou Elisa Tawil e essa foi mais uma edição de Vieses Femininos. Eu criei este projeto pautado no tripé: fortalecimento da imagem, liderança pessoal e protagonismo. Cada edição traz uma inspiração e uma mensagem de vida. E eu espero que essa tenha te inspirado. Visite nossos canais Deezer, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud e YouTube. Compartilhe, comente e me escreva. Até o próximo Vieses!